want to be safe and it takes me time. I go, safe and time is completely opposite. You can be safe, but don't take that much time. I'm guesstimating about $1,200 each and every month for the laundry income.
Yeah.
Okay? And then if you have to increase it, you're going to increase it in wintertime. Makes sense? We project numbers by the seller and then by 5 years out.
What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here, and we're back with Kasey Wong. This is a part 2 of a 2-part series, so if you haven't seen part 1, hit the pause button, jump over and watch Kasey and myself dive deep into the numbers behind a real life deal that he bought. This was a 40-unit apartment building in St. Catharines, and we really peel back all the details on these numbers. I'm really excited to be creating content like this, so if you guys are enjoying this video series, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and let's dive into part 2 with Kasey Wong.
My hairdresser, I've been talking to her about for 12 years, okay, about real estate. Every couple of weeks, I'm like talking about real estate because that's what I like to talk about. But now she goes, oh, I want to invest in real estate now. It's only 12 years, my goodness, 12 years. She's probably gonna be watching this. I told her about YouTube and real estate, but like, I go, I know you want to be safe, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, I want to be safe and it takes me time. I go, safe and time is completely opposite. You can be safe, but don't take that much time, okay? So I was telling her about, the story goes here, you think I'm digressing, but I'm not. So she's saying, oh, what happens if there's a fire and it's completely burned down? I'm like, you know what, if nobody gets hurt, in a way,
it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. Insurance cover everything. They will replace a building, cover all your rent, and give you a new building. You can actually not even GC it.
Yeah.
You can just say, hey, hands off insurance, you build me my own building, right? Or you can do it yourself. But they're gonna give you a new building, right? Insure it properly. So make sure that you're comparing apples with apples. You're gonna get the same coverage and the proper coverage, okay? So we actually use Hub and cooperators for all of our buildings. For the student housing, I think, I don't know, it's those two companies. So we're very straightforward. We have nothing to hide. They want to like see the building. We see the entire building. So, but insurance, make sure you get the coverage properly. Make sure you get full coverage for that. That item is very important. And you mentioned that you only need it when there's a problem, right?
Yeah.
When you don't want to know that you don't have enough coverage, and you're sitting up, basically you're walking in knee deep water, right? Or there's a fire, and now you say you don't have coverage. So make sure you get that done properly. Okay. Snow landscaping contracts, things like that. Like, I don't have the time to do it, right? I'm not going to be doing like my landscaping. If I was young and this is my first property, my first 10plex, my 20plex, or whatever, you may want to do it, right? Make sure that you have a little shed, or you're doing that so at least you can visit it, run and push that lawnmower. But at the beginning, I did that. I did the painting. I changed some toilets. My sewer line broke. I was there. My contractor's trying to figure it out. You get black water splashing up on you, just close your mouth, okay? Whatever. But you're doing a lot of it at the beginning because you want to learn, and you want to try to save money, as much money as possible. So,
and again, that's an area that I find a lot of sellers forget to include in their bottom line, right? So again, like we can notice here, this seller didn't really include it, and oftentimes it may be that the seller is actually the one taking care of it. And even if we're going to step in and take care of it, I think it's important you still add it to your numbers, just so that you have a fair representation, because ideally the goal here is, if you're buying these large multifamily buildings, you're going to buy more, and at some point you're going to get to a size or a scale where you can't be the guy pushing the lawnmower.
Exactly. So know what you can do at the beginning. If you can save that money, put that item, that number that you're actually getting paid for it, okay? Maybe if you own it 100% on your own, you're gonna eat that, or as in you get that profit or whatever, okay? R&M, so repair and maintenance. We normally do, so the first year, it could be 80% of 1 month's rent. Second year, it could be 60% of 1 month's rent. So whatever your rent is, let's say it's $40,000, or on a 10plex, let's say it's $10,000. You can do 80%, so it's $8,000 for the entire year, okay? For the following year, it could be 60%. So this is the art, okay? It's not, there's no science to it. I can do 80%. Of that 1 month's rent for the entire year, but then the next year, like I find out, that first year is, you know what, the actual compared to your budget, let's say it's 86%. Okay, then the following year I could do another 66%. Makes sense for that? 6%. It may, so that's the art. So it went from 80, I thought my budget was 80, but the actual is 86. The following year, our budget was 60, but now I'm gonna budget a little bit more. Let's say 66%. Okay, and then the following, if it is, and I hit 66 again, I could run to the next third year. It could be 56, and then 56, and then 56. It really depends on what you want to do. Again, that's the art. Some people can value it differently, right? So make sure that whatever you do, you're consistent with it, but you have an actual compared to your budget. I think a lot of accountants would do that actual, and then you get your variance report and take a look at what's up and what's down. Plumbing might be high, and then your move outs might be low or whatever. Maybe you get a lot of leaks or what have you. So you have to know what you're sort of playing with and see how that building works. Each building is going to be completely different. You might buy an old building with a lot of plumbing issues or a lot of electrical issues or things like that. Once you get past the first or second year, now you'll stabilize that building and you'll know what type of expenses that you have to project or forecast for.
Okay. And do you mind just breaking down for the audience, why is it more in the first year and then less in the second and the third? Is it we're stabilizing the building?
Exactly. You're stabilizing that building, and then a lot of the problems will come up at the first couple of years. And then you have your toilets running, you have leaky taps, you have a pinhole leak, and whatever. So you're fixing all that, and usually that has a lifespan. It's not going to be that long, but let's say about a 10-year lifespan. But it's very normal. Buildings, there's a lot of moving parts, right? In a way that moving parts are tenants and hot water, things like that. But you have to sort of gauge that in the first couple of years. So if you know you're buying an older building, put that 80%. It could be 100%. Okay, 1 month's rent. If it's a new building, it could be only 20%, right? So you'll know, and if you made a mistake, you know what? It's just you're gonna have to pull that money from somewhere, okay? You're either just going to throw money at it. It's very simple. I think Angie's mentioned, you throw money at it or you buy a better location. That's my thing, is that you throw money at it or you buy a better location, right? So those are things that you have to be aware of. So that we talked about repair and maintenance, legal and tax. Legal fees, for whatever reason, it's going to be either tribunal. It could be legal as in regular, legal as in court, anything, okay?
And then same with on the tax side, that's just paying your accountant or your CPA. So you have to pay that. There's a number there, throw it in. We put $10,000 for it. Property management. So property management is pretty easy. Commercial is 3 to 5% on the gross rent. If you're buying single family homes, it's about 8 to 12%. It's going to vary. If it's going to be less than that range, you're getting no frills. If you're paying a little bit more, then you should be getting more for it, right? So you're just paying for those frills. Mind you, like, if you don't want to deal with it, pay that 12%, pay that 5%, right? And then they'll deal with it all right? But if you're paying for property management, you don't let the property manager get the rent, okay? You don't want to be held hostage, right? They holding you the rent and say, I want whatever. I'm like, no, don't play that game. You always collect all the rent, everything. You're gonna drive out there, collect your coin, right? And here's another sort of side point, is that I had this comment saying that if I was really rich or something like that, or I'll be delegating, right? No, if you delegate everything, right, even from coins or anything like that, or parking, somebody's gonna be picking your pocket, okay? I had this this gentleman that I met, I talked to you on the side for this, but he works for this large REIT, and his parents, way back, would actually go and count parking stalls, okay, and see who was parking there. All right, they're one of the largest REITs. So the son said that when he was 13, 14, 15, he was counting parking spots with his father, right? My kids count coins, right? My kids actually went to my buildings to pick up garbage. I got one of those picker-upper things, right? You just press a button, or pull that lever, and they're picking up garbage from you. But when people start off, don't delegate. Like, even if you do delegate, you have to watch them. But what I'm saying is that people start off with doing it themselves. Parking, like counting the parking stalls and counting the number of cars, making sure that they have the parking tags there, the permits there, collecting the money, because seriously, that's cash. It's going to go missing, right? People will,
will take a few hundreds of dollars, right? So just be cognizant of what you let people do, and the property management side of it, they shouldn't be taking that top line.
Cashflow Tribe.
Hey YouTube, have you checked out Cashflow Tribe yet? It doesn't matter whether you're an experienced, seasoned investor or brand new to the game. I can probably predict if you're currently not having the level of success you want as a real estate investor, it's due to one thing. That one thing is you're not making enough offers, plain and simple. You need to be making more offers as a real estate investor if you want to hit those big, audacious goals that you're setting for yourself. So here's the deal. Cashflow Tribe, that's the community that myself and Ben were making together. And so Ben's actually so busy trying to provide value to you guys that he had to take off there. But here's the deal. Cashflow Tribe is really a one-of-a-kind community focused on results. That's the difference between us and everyone else. We want to get you guys those results. I'm tired of seeing people commenting on my YouTube channel for 2-3 years now, but they're not making offers. What's holding you back? I'm going to guess that it's either a lack of confidence or a lack of competence. And we cover both of those things in Cashflow Tribe. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make you guys a 7-day free trial offer. You can join Cashflow Tribe completely free, get to test it out. If you like it, great, stay and pay. If you don't, well, I hope you at least find one great idea that you can take away and use to start making more offers, gain more deals, and finally start making the money related to real estate investing. That's probably why you're watching my YouTube channel. So let's do this, guys. Let's make 2020 your year.
Cashflow Tribe.
We'll take a few hundreds of dollars, right? So just be cognizant of what you let people do, and the property management side of it, they shouldn't be taking that top line. That's property management, payrolls of superintendent, payrolls of your PMs and your assistant PMs. Make sure that you have money for that. Okay, because you're not going to be able to do it all. If you can do it, great. You get to eat that, right? You get to have that as income. It could be, we put here 19,200 and 25,000.
Do you mind breaking down for the audience, like what's the difference between property management, a superintendent, and then like your PM?
Yeah, so I'm the property manager. The superintendent is essentially going to be either living there or superintendent / cleaner. So they're going to be cleaning on a regular basis or things like that. They can be off-site. They're going to be doing the regular cleaning 2 times per, usually again Mondays and Fridays, sandwich the weekends, and you have to pay that. They're also going to be like any kind of turnovers. They're going to be cleaning the units. If they want, they can earn the turnover of moving furniture. Any kind of renovation, small things. If they can do it all, great. You can pay them, right? So it's different. One of them is going to be near the building. So each building has a super / cleaner, and then I'm the property manager, and I have to get paid as well because I'm overseeing a lot of the work as well as my back office. So I have to still pay for Yardi. I have to pay for a lot of the stationery, whatever. Going out to the tribunal and things like that. So you have to be. Just make sure that you have that line item and you know that there is a cost involved, right? There's no, sort of running around and saying that there's no cost to it, because you know what, if you have 10 buildings, right, who's going to be doing all that? You can't physically, mentally do all that work and not get paid for it. Okay, so those 2 items, you sort of break it down. You can break it down any which way you want. You can go break it down now cleaners, now superintendents, to administrate. There's a line item there. You can break it down any which way you want. Okay, administration costs of 2407. So again, administration could be costs to run the building. It could be paying utilities, sending out postage.
Just a bunch of the general overhead, right?
Exactly. So it's not a lot. It's $200 a month, but there is that admin cost behind it.
Yeah.
But overall, once you get those items, the expenses, you're going to have, usually it's about 40%, okay? 40% of the gross income. On a well-built, new-built building, you can go down to about 20 to about 30%, usually about 25%. So we know that some of the new-built buildings here will have that. And then you're going to run your figures that way. So if you're going to build new, how much is it going to cost? You can have that operating expense. So you're going to push that out again. I'm going to be building I'm buying these buildings at $130,000 per unit. With turnover, how much? I'm probably putting about $12,000 to maybe $14,000. Let's say about $10,000 to $12,000 worth of renovations into it. Now jumps it up to about 142, let's say 150 approximately per unit. What am I renting it for? If I can build new, I'm building at buying land, building construction costs for 800 square feet unit at $175, $200 a square foot. Let's say it costs about $200,000, $225,000 per unit. Now my operating costs will drop.
Yeah.
So instead of the 40% on gross rent, it could be 25% on gross rent. So you're going to project that out again to another 5 years. So those are the numbers that you're going to be working with, right? Yeah, it's going to be a little bit higher, but now my operating cost is low. How does that compare to an old unit, like an old building?
Yeah.
So these are, again, these buildings are built in 1960s and 70s. They didn't build in the 1980s just for the fact that we had a housing boom, okay, here in Ontario. So let's say you're investing in New York or California, Arizona, things like that. It's going to be different. So you have to take a look at your housing market, specifically what's happening there. Our location, we're buying 1960s and 70s built. The expense side, about 40%. Now, on a side note, I got calls from people saying that, you know what, I can't find anything, right? You probably get those calls too. It's like, oh my goodness, I can't find anything. It's like, and then Matt or me, I was like, what do you mean you can't find anything? Well, I looked. I got like three buildings that seem to be good, right? And one of them is sort of falls into this. You only look at 3.
Yes.
Dude, like you got to look more. But mind you, in certain areas, let's say Barrie and Aurelia, we really looked in that area way back in 2004. We just bought townhouses there, and we did rent-to-owns there. They don't have a lot of purpose-built multifamily there. They don't have the 30, 40 unit buildings. So Barrie, you can't really do it. You have to go outside. So wherever it's close for you, that you can actually do it in that sort of that 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. I'm not sure how. If you're an investor and if you can do the 2, 3, 4 hours and you can do it, great. But if I don't think I can do it. I think max is 2 hours. But if you can do it, get outside. Don't stay in your Barrie and try to hope that a 30 unit, 40 unit building will come on the market. But because there is none.
Yeah.
Right. So Barrie is a good place to. There's nothing wrong with Barrie. It's a very strong housing market. People are moving up. It's just that I bought way back in 2004, and they just don't have that supply. They don't have that inventory of the 30, 40 unit buildings. And like Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge, St. Catharines now, Hamilton, they have those 30, 40 unit buildings, and they do turnover. Okay.
Yeah.
Investors will turn that over, and you have to look. So you're going to compare a 10 unit, or this is a 40 unit, with a whole bunch of 10 unit buildings, right? So you're gonna compare a 10 unit with a 10 unit with a 10 unit. If not, it's gonna be 8 unit, but then you can get that per unit price. Compare that with an 8 to a 12. What's that difference, right? If I'm looking at a 40 unit, it's going to be different. My expenses on a per unit basis are probably gonna drop. And I did mention this before. So a lot of the price per unit on the smaller stuff is high.
Yeah.
Right? So a 10 unit will probably be about $200,000 per unit, right? It could be like 180, 190 plus deferred maintenance. It's up there. Then you have the 30 units, and it actually comes down in price. Okay, so your 10 units is like 200,000. So let me do it this way: it's 200,000. Then your 30, 40, which I'm in that space of 30 to 50 unit buildings, the value comes down to maybe 130 to 150. Per unit. Then it actually spikes back up. If you go to, let's say, 100 to 200 unit buildings, that actually spikes back up to like 180 to 220, or even, let's say in Toronto, it could be up to 300,000. It comes back. Rent will be slightly higher, but now you have more competition. So you have that lull, that little low in my 30 to 50 unit building spaces. I like that space because there's not a lot of competition. Yeah. So the 10 unit, you're gonna see a lot of competition. Your mom and pop, those duplex conversion that they've held 10 duplexes, they've held 20 duplexes, and now they're selling it off. Now they're jumping into a 10 unit, 20 unit space, right? Because they know how to do it. It's quite easy. Then that price per unit is quite high. So find your space, right? And compare your space with other spaces, like the 10 with the 10, 10 with the 12, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that when you're looking at 30 unit, you're going to be looking at another 30 unit, something very, very similar. And then you're gonna compare, right? That's what you have to do. You have to dig a little bit deeper. Like I'm not here to coach, or like I'm here to coach and tell you guys on YouTube, right? But I can't handhold you doing every single thing. I can't tell you, hey, did you check on utility costs on gas? Is it 1 year, 2 years, or whatever, 6 months, or did they give you the right information? Right? That's for you to do, right? And your investors will know if you have done it, right? If your investors pick up on that and say that no, it's like you're only picking up 6 months, right? You don't want your investors to pick that up. You want to be able to tell it to them.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say the current owner only held it for 6 months, right? Mm-hmm. Then you're going to have to bump up that expense. Right?
Yeah.
You're gonna overshoot. You're gonna
safety margin. Yeah.
Safety margin. You're gonna overestimate. You're gonna go not even 2 times. You're gonna go 4 times, right? Because you don't have that expense for the winter months. But you have to do your homework. So at least you, as the operating partner, you look like you're experienced, right? Because your investors your investors are actually trusting you.
Yes.
Right? So you're bringing them on your side. They want to have that comfy, cozy feeling of saying, I trust this guy. He knows what he's talking about. I'm going to invest with this, because you know what? Their money is important to them, right? Mm-hmm. Don't think that, hey, they're going to drop 100 grand on you, or 200 or 300. Yeah, they could be somebody close to you, a relative, but they've saved for that, right?
Yeah.
And respect that. Mm-hmm. Like, respect your investors' money, right? They want to know that their money is safe, because you know what? They want to retire too.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a sort of the gist of it. But again, you're gonna do your own analysis. You're gonna do what you have to do with digging it up, right? For whatever location, you may have different types of sort of valuation or expenses because your location calls for it, right? Let's say you live in Texas, your hydro is actually the expensive part, okay? Because you have like really hot summers, right? You don't have expenses, so that's something that you have to be cognizant of. Say that, like, you know what, I don't care about my my winter months because I have no AC. My AC is actually bad. My electricity expense is actually bad in June, July, August, and that's my expensive part, right? So know what you're getting into. The flip side of it, dig a little bit deeper, but that is your analysis.
Yeah, I love it. And I hope everyone at home, we covered a lot of information today, but to me, I think your biggest takeaway should really just be on the fact that there's no fancy spreadsheet here. You guys aren't calculating 8 different ways of IRR. It really is just like simple, income, expenses, verifying both the income and the expenses to the best of our abilities. And so often that requires us reaching out to other third parties like the utility companies or the city for property taxes, or getting multiple quotes from an insurance provider. It really is like, it can seem very intimidating at the start when you're thinking about buying a 40-unit apartment building, but it's not that much different than a duplex. We still just need to do our due diligence. Thanks again, Kasey.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks again to Kasey for taking the time to dive deep into the numbers behind this multiplex. I know this is what you guys have been wanting, so jump in the comment section and let us know what else should we talk to Kasey about in regards to real estate investing, because Kasey and I, we'd love to meet up and chat real estate. We just need your input on what we should chat about. Otherwise, if somehow you watched this entire video without watching part 1, check it out right here. Or you just want more Kasey Wong videos in general, check out this entire playlist we have with Kasey right here. Otherwise, appreciate you guys watching this video. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in the next video, and keep on making more offers.